What is going on, y'all? It is your boy Quaman Star G, and I just want to welcome you guys to my first impressions on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. The alpha dropped this past weekend from Friday to Sunday, and thankfully my internet stopped acting sort of stupid. You know, that's a whole other topic for another day. But I was able to play Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and get some first impressions on what is the expected outcome of the final product. Now, this is an alpha, which means this is the very first step in trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work for the multiplayer. Of course, there's the beta for those who pre-order the game. That is coming up next, and then I'm pretty sure maybe one more beta, a closed beta, if not having another open beta before the game launches later on this fall. So yeah, I'm just gonna give you guys some of my first impressions on the game. First things first, this is a Treyarch game through and through. They are the developers for this one, and their trademark fast-paced action and gameplay are back. I want to say even more back than it was with their previous game, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, in that it just feels like I almost don't want to give it that too high of a bar to reach, but it did put me in the mind of Black Ops 1 at the very least. I'm not going to give it the Black Ops 2, which is the gold standard, just yet, but it definitely felt like a combination of Black Ops and of Modern Warfare, the previous game / current game, however you wish to quantify it. It definitely was there. Something I do want to point out though, that while it did have some feeling of Modern Warfare, there isn't any cover system. Like, you can't perch on a wall or peek behind a corner to shoot. That is strictly still not in the game, so I don't know if they'll add that in at a later date or if that is a gameplay decision that they're going to keep. But all in all, that is exactly what they are going for with the traditional Treyarch gameplay. The standout weapons, you know, that this game had with this alpha, for me personally, was the AK-7 for you. That SMG was doing work. Specifically, if you put a silencer on there and you have a huge magazine, above all else, you are straight up nothing personnel, kid. The competition, like, you're straight up coming behind them and wiping them out. You can rack up double and triple kill. I don't know if you're gonna see it in this gameplay, but I definitely was getting quads and bloodthirsties just running that gun specifically. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up their, what would you quantify it? Would you call it their cousin, brother, sister? The AK-47. That gun also was simply divine to use in your hands and getting it done. Definitely one of just setting the bar really high. Another gun that was oh so very, very, very good to put in your hands, the M16. Very little recoil. There's very little recoil with that gun. And if you put a scope on that gun, you are shooting you're shooting with the best of them when it comes to long distance engagements. You know, you'd have to be somebody not too acclimated to first person shooters to not really get high kills, or you would have to have a bad internet connection. Because if neither of those things are applicable, you're going to be doing some damage with the M16 in regards to this game and how it flows. But boy oh boy, the standouts of the entirety of the weapon classes in this game was not just one, but all of the sniper rifles. All of the sniper rifles were just this mind-blowing, god-tier, point and click adventures, if you will. You know, one of the engagements I have is I was take out two dudes and then I catch a guy with a sniper and I'm like, okay, this is a close engagement. I'm just gonna shoot from the hip. I have a red dot sight, which just makes it easier for hip fire kills. Nope, not at all. He straight up I think it was even a no scope. I don't think it was a quick scope. He didn't even give me the dignity of quick scoping me. He just straight up no scoped your boy, and that's all she wrote. And even then, when you're playing the sniper rifle the way you're intended to, you're just racking them up, getting them kills. I personally didn't run any snipers in my experience with the alpha, but I definitely got killed a lot by those snipers with relative ease. So expect these guns to be nerfed when the final product comes out at the very, or like definitely when the final product comes out. And when they drop the beta in a couple of months, definitely expect those guns to also be pretty nerfed moving forward, because that's what the purpose of this alpha is to go ahead and get an idea of what these guns are going to do, what they are going to, you know, how they're playing, if they're too good, if they're too bad. That's what the purpose of these alphas are, among other things. So yeah, definitely looking on the lookout for that. And also, going back to the topic of the difference between a Treyarch game versus any other Call of Duty developed game that's from their other studios, particularly in comparison to Modern Warfare, the recoil with these guns in general are very, 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 and I can't stress this enough, very, very, very well done in comparison to Modern Warfare. Not saying Modern Warfare did not have good gun recoil, but some of those guns really do, especially with the breadth of larger scale maps in Modern Warfare. They kind of become like, you take away a little bit of the arcadey feel that Call of Duty games, kind of multiplayer at least, excel at. Even though I know Modern Warfare was going more for a realistic tone, and you really only get, you know, a good feeling for the arcadey sense when you're playing on a map like Shipment or Rust House, you know, stuff, you know, the classic smaller paced maps in Modern Warfare. But even though the maps in Cold War, and I'm gonna get to that in a second, are a little bit on the bigger size, the recoil still feels manageable, and it doesn't feel like it, you know, you can. I got plenty of kills with the AK-74U submachine gun at pretty good distances, you know. So I'm very much feeling the recoil in this game, and I hope that's one of the things they do not change. With the exception of a couple, like the M16, which does need a little bit of a nerf with their recoil because it's just too good. Or maybe they should buff all of the recoil and like to take the fighting game approach of buffing everyone to an extent so it gets crazy and fun and whatnot. So yeah, another thing, and this is a very important part, is the maps. And of the maps I played all three maps. I played Moscow, I played Miami, and I played Satellite. I played Moscow the least, so I really can't tell you guys have an informed opinion. But when it comes to Miami and Satellite, however, those two maps are, I really digging those maps. They are just, I don't want to say they're small because they certainly aren't, but the way that they are designed is that they promote fast-paced gameplay. They promote you hunting down your opponent and getting the kills up. You can't stay in camp for too long. You can absolutely camp from a distance, but it encourages you to try to seek out some sort of close to mid-range engagement with Satellite. There's, I want to say, 3 to 4 separate paths you can take. You know, the sand dunes, that's very generous with as far as you can go into the sand. Can't go too far, but it's generous just enough. As well as a couple of choke points on the far left and in the middle. 2 choke points, in fact, in the middle. One on a cliff where the aforementioned Satellite crashed, and then one under it where you fight under that place. 2 little choke points in the middle, which I found a little bit of fun in there. So yeah, it's definitely a map that I feel like is going to be a favorite moving forward. But in my opinion, the standout map was Miami. Oh, it was very much in fuego, if I do say so myself. I've heard people say it was a little bit too big for the traditional game mode, for the mosh pit, for the chaos mosh pit, I should say. but I didn't quite agree with that. I felt like it was a perfectly built map and a perfectly sized map. You know, it doesn't, like, it does have a couple of exterior points that are fairly big, but mainly the objectives when you're playing like domination or hard point, they're in the middle, so it promotes the use of going towards the middle instead of being on the outlier, which I liked. And I just love the aesthetic. It's the neon feel, the Miami Vice type feel of it. It just, you know, the Grand Theft Auto Vice City feel of it. It was very cool aesthetic wise, and I definitely played the most on that map compared to the other two. Now, as far as the 12v12 game mode, unfortunately, I didn't get too much time with it because my alpha was kind of finding matches that was kind of difficult. But I did play Armada, the Navy level where you capture the different points in the sea, and I gotta say that was pretty fun. That was really, really fun, and I don't want to attribute it to it being an alpha, so people weren't familiar with the choke points and how to lock down locations, but I definitely was getting some very good run and gun feels, some cool close quarter engagements, blew up a boat with my rocket launcher, so that was pretty badass. That was pretty cool to do. You know, kill people with the minigun on the ship. That was pretty cool. Zip lining and everything. I can see that. I can see that game mode probably being a little bit more well received than Modern Warfare's, the current Modern Warfare's interpretation of Ground War. Though I will say that 12v12 might be a little bit small for those maps. I think it should be about a 16v16 or 14v14. Just up it up a couple of by twos once or twice and keep the map size the same. I think that what is lacking and what would set it apart, because people have called it their battlefield mode, if you will. But I think one of the best things to do in that regard is to up the player count and don't make the map too big. Make it big, obviously, so you can have fun. But I feel like, and this is like taking a page out of Modern Warfare's book, whenever they would have the shipment only playlist, or they would do ground war on a specific part of Verdansk, which is the Warzone map. And I remember whenever those pop up on Modern Warfare, I have the most fun because I'm getting the most frequent engagements, which leads to more frequent kills. And I feel like making the map bigger to compensate, just making it big, a little bit too big, kind of slows that down, even though the score streaks are now adjusted to where they are more in line with the support score streaks, which are a Treyarch staple, where you don't lose your progress when you die. You just keep racking them up, which I personally like, because once you use one score streak, it has to recharge before you're able to earn more for the next score streak. So I like that aspect, and it also promotes frequent engagements, ideally, because you can't just sit around and camp and wait for somebody to come and just, I'm just gonna just work towards building up my kill streaks by just camping. Now, if I want to get to my kill streaks faster, I need to hunt you down and rack up the multi-kills and whatnot, which I like. But I understand in theory, it might not be as applicable as, one would think. So in any case, Armada and the 12v12, it was fun. For that particular map I was able to play, but I do want to see them kind of up it in the future to more people, but keep the maps the same, so it can be some crazy off-the-wall type big large-scale engagements that have not been seen before. And you're constantly having fun and taking advantage of the gameplay mechanics and getting all of these crazy score streaks on the map and, all of that cool stuff. I feel like that we're in desperate need of a over-the-top, off-the-wall game mode in the good old Call of Duty. But yeah, that's been my overall thoughts with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. You know, I've like personally loved every second of it. If I'm being quite honest with you, I've loved every aspect of it, and I'm very much looking forward to it coming out. But in any case, per the usual, this has been your boy Quamon Star G. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later. Peace.